Welcome to the Mortgage Note podcast. My name is Kimberley Haas. We are with Phil Portman, the CEO and founder of Textdrip. How are you doing today, Phil?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that today we can talk a little bit about the do's and don'ts of modern marketing when it comes to text messaging and emails for people who are in the mortgage lending space, as well as people who are in real estate. Maybe you can just give us an overview to start with what TextDrip is and what it provides for people who sign up for your services.
Yeah, absolutely. So TextDrip specifically is a platform that centers around text marketing. We found that most other platforms were very email centric and they threw on texting as kind of an afterthought. Well, the data shows us that texting has the highest response rate, the fastest response rate, and it's the most preferred method of communication for Americans. So when we built the company, we said, what would happen if we made the central component of our entire platform the best, most preferred way of communication? And the results have been tremendous. Companies that have historically relied on email and phone and things like that, when they switched over to our platform, saw just incredible results. But like any great tool, there are the don'ts that you can do with it or other things that could cause problems if done the wrong way. And historically, that's when people treat text marketing like email marketing.
All right. So let's start, I guess, with some of the do's for a text marketing campaign. What are some things that people are finding successful?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing with the do's is respect the attention that you have with people. People are overwhelmed, and texting, although it's a very powerful tool, it's difficult to ignore. Email, you can get plenty of those throughout a day. Social media marketing, we're just so used to it, we just scroll through it. But text marketing is far more intrusive. You're forced to open it up and do something with it. And typically on average, it's in 90 seconds. When we understand that it's that important, oftentimes less is more. So we don't want to bombard people with it, but at the same point in time, we want to capture their attention in that moment. So the second thing is personalize with intent, not just data. So you want to make sure that you understand what the objective of this person is so that the message is personalized to them. And they're not just saying, oh my God, another message from this guy. What is he doing, right? No, you want them looking at it going, oh, wow. Okay, there's a house on the market for me exactly in the price range, and I want to hurry up and get an offer because I missed the last three, right? Well, that's an urgent message that I want to get onto immediately. So first, respect the attention. Secondly, personalize with intent. And then the third thing is stay compliant, especially within SMS and phone calls. We have an entire tool built called Landline Remover. And yes, it's for removing landlines. But another thing that it does is shows you if the message is on the do not call list. And then most importantly, it notifies you if there's a known litigator on your list. These are people who put their information out on the internet, waiting for you to mess up and contact them so that they can send you a letter requesting that you pay them or they're going to take you to court. And it exists out there. And so please remain compliant. And there are tools like Landline Remover that we offer where you can run the data through it just to make sure you weed out any of those people who are trying to find a way to take advantage of you. So then the last thing is build trust before you take action. And this is good for any marketing and sales strategy. When I'm on a call with one of our demo specialists, even for TextDrip, I'm always making sure that they really understand me, what I'm looking to do, my intent, that they're asking enough questions before we ever get to the recommendation phase. And that's incredibly important with modern marketing. And a misstep for people is when they're using automation tools or AI to bombard people instead of personalizing, and they're not building the trust. They're trying to cram information down their customer's throat. So once again, respect the attention, personalize with intent, stay compliant, and build trust before you take any sort of action.
What are some ways that people can build trust before they start to take action on a campaign like this?
Yeah, absolutely. So the main thing is you want to understand your customers, but you don't want to sound creepy. Okay. So there's a difference between understanding the intent and having the data. Especially with AI nowadays, we can collect data from all over the place. I'll give you an example. I get an email from somebody that says, "Hello, Philip, owner of Textdrip, Huntington Ridge Horse Farm." They're going through like this resume of information about me. And what am I saying in that moment? Am I saying, wow, this person really took the time to get to know me? No, I'm saying they're aggregating a bunch of different data that is not applicable to anything that we're talking about right now. Right? So it's good to have the data because it'll help you understand your customer better. But the customer wants you to build trust in understanding them as an individual. And that's how you ultimately build the trust. I used to have an old boss that says, it takes 1,000 attaboys to make up for an oh shit. And it's the same thing when it comes to building trust. You can instantly destroy trust if you seem robotic, if you seem like you're not respecting their data and not respecting them as an individual. So the first thing I would say is respect them as an individual. The second thing I would say is spend time getting to know them as an individual before you ever recommend something to them. If you are recommending something to them, it's based on what they told you. Based on what you told me, here's the recommendations. Based on what you said about the housing market and you're looking for a ranch so you don't have to deal with stairs, here's what I recommend you. Because I built the trust, now I can get to the recommendation phase. And this is especially important when we're dealing with text marketing because it is so in your face. Email marketing, sure. We can just list houses that are on the market that are within their price range, within the radius that they're looking for. With text messaging, we got to be more personal based on information that they told us.
Now, how do you personalize something like that to scale? You gave the example of a person looking for a ranch home. Well, I may have 50 people that I'm working with that are also looking for ranch homes. How do you reach out to that group using something like TextDrip, an automated campaign, and still, retain that personalization?
Yeah, it's a great question. One I love talking about. There's different ways of scale. Some companies and people are dealing with 50, 100 customers a month. Some are dealing with thousands, and those obviously vary greatly in how you deal with it. If it is small enough that you can manage directly, the thing I would say inside TextDrip or whatever platform you're using is to take really good notes about the person and make sure that they're in there. And we have great tools for categorizing customers, for putting them in different buckets, for adding notes, for adding tags about them. So then you can automate features based on what they're looking for. So if you wanted to tag them for a certain area, you wanted to tag them for a certain buyer type, you can do all of that stuff. And then send out the message directly more personally. We've got the beautiful online platform, but we've also got an amazing mobile app. So you can set up quick responses, or you type it out and respond quickly back to your lead right from inside your device. Now, if you're somebody that needs to scale, that's when you start looking more into automation tools and AI. AI, fortunately, has the ability to digest large amounts of information and help personalize it. And that's where the AI tools would come in. They would look at your data and say, this is what we're finding. This is the best time to respond to this person. This is the type of messaging. And then you can, at scale, craft messages that send out to the individuals. Like any tool, it can be misused because it's so easy to personalize and send messages out. You can overwhelm your customers or your prospects by sending them almost too many messages. So I always say, once again, just like text messaging is direct in your face, you have to open it. Because AI makes the personalization so easy, don't abuse it.
Mm.
In the beginning, I always recommend people, whenever they're starting off an automation tool, figure out how to do it yourself manually before you automate it. Typically, when you skip that manual phase and you jump to the automation, you don't understand enough about what is working well for your specific customers to automate it. So start with the manual process and then build on it. When you do come on board with TextDrip, we do an hour-long demo with you, and then you can schedule a demo at any point after that to get on with us completely free, because we want to make sure you understand how to use the platform. And those are the type of things that they'll go over with you, is how to set up your campaigns, how to message, what things to do, what things not to do. And I recommend taking full advantage of our free demos, because they really do help you not only stay compliant, but get messages that are going to get results.
Right. And I'm sure that there's certain times and certain situations where people want to make sure that they're sending out more text messages. Say, for example, when mortgage rates change, it may be advantageous for somebody to consider refinancing or some kind of other product. And the same thing too in real estate. I can see it being, very important that people are in the know, especially as many houses come onto a market in an area or something like that, to keep in line with all those sorts of things. But there are probably other times, like when it's a little bit quieter, so you want to curate a more thoughtful campaign. I really enjoy what you said about making sure you understand manually what works with your audience before you try to automate, especially as we think about remaining authentic as we use these kinds of incredible tools and resources we've never had in our wheelhouse before.
Yeah, 100%. And AI as a whole, it's a tool, and it's a great tool, but do not let it replace you, and don't get lazy with it. When you get lazy with it is where you get poor results. And that coincides the same thing with text marketing as well. When you get lazy with it, you end up getting poor results. Both of these things you need to spend a little bit of time understanding, because it differs not only in market and industry, but it differs based on the customers. Oftentimes in real estate and mortgage, you have a specific niche type customer that you're dealing with. Maybe it's lakefront homes, maybe it's buyers in a certain area or a certain market. Those differ completely from another real estate agent that's working in that same market. The better that you can get to help your AI or help your automation tools understand your voice and what works, the better you can scale it. But if you start with the AI and not understanding your customers, then you're skipping that step and you're getting very generic messages, because it doesn't know any better. It's only trained off of the information that you give it.
Mm. So let's talk a little bit about the difference between an email marketing campaign and a text marketing campaign for the people out there who maybe have a really successful email campaign. It's something that's working really well for them and they want to get into more text marketing in 2026 and beyond. What are some of the key differences between the two forms of marketing? And what do you advise people that are interested in making that jump between email to text message and then into full-on automation?
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't think it's a replacement, right? It's an omni-channel solution. The more times that your customer sees your brand, sees you, the more likely they are to go with you. We've seen that data all over the place. Sometimes it takes 7 or 8 times for someone to see you, see your brand. You want to be top of mind when they do decide to move forward. They know exactly who they're contacting because they've seen you all the time. So it doesn't need to be a replacement. It needs to be an and strategy. But email has, let's say, if you're lucky, if you're really great at it, a 20% open rate. Texting has a 98+% open rate, and it's open within 3 minutes. So very fast reaction time. So let's talk about the good and the bad with that. Let's say you took your entire lead list, loaded it up into TextDrip, and sent out a massive campaign. 98% within 3 minutes. What are you going to do if they all respond, right? How are you going to handle that? So it's different than email. This is for things that are time sensitive, urgent, responsive in the moment. So the things that we want to keep in mind is, does the messaging warrant that immediacy, that in-your-face attention, that right now I got the perfect thing for you and I need it? And then the second thing is, can you handle the volume? If you are texting in volume, can you handle all those people? And what I would say is, anytime you're starting off with TextDrip, start slow. Start with 10 leads, 50 leads, and then continue to grow from there, because you're going to find that it can be overwhelming very quickly. So then on the other side, what's the great thing about email, even though it's got a 20% open rate? Well, the major benefit to email is they're still seeing you and seeing your brand. Emails are great for newsletter type of engagement. Click here, opt in for here. Pop your click this link if you want to be the first to know about these great opportunity houses for real estate investors, right? Or pop your link in here if you want to be the first to be notified when interest rates drop, that sort of thing. Email is great for nurturing leads, and it's not something that is ever going to go away. You showing up even in the subject line, even if they don't open that email, them consistently seeing your brand is what's going to lead to, when the text message pops up in their face saying, hey, act now, they're more likely to act in that moment, because you built the trust through the nurturing. They know who you are. Boom, this thing is relevant to them. Now they're going to act.
So maybe we could talk a little bit about some of these calls to action, and what might be an appropriate call to action through a text message campaign if you are working in either real estate or mortgage lending.
Yeah, absolutely. So keep in mind that text is very conversational. Email, you almost expect it to be like an advertisement. Sometimes it's either a newsletter, informative, or it's with an advertisement or call to action inside there. With texting, you can do it if it's an alert type format that says, hey, there's a house on the market right now, click here to act now, with a sense of urgency. Needs to include why it's specifically relevant to them and why it needs their attention right now, right? So this is an urgent. Houses in your market have been selling have been getting offers within 48 hours, and this is within your price range. Message me back a good time to get on a call, or click this link to schedule a time with me that we can go out and take a look at this house together, something like that. Those are great call to actions. Okay. For text messaging, because there's an immediate urgency to it. The other side to it is the conversational side of it, and it depends on your industry on how you're going to do it. But for instance, with mortgages, it could be something like, hey, Phil, I noticed that you are on a 30-year fixed mortgage. With interest rates dropping right now, we could get you down to like a 15-year mortgage, and it's only going to cost you a couple $100 more a month. What's your schedule look like? We can get on a call, or what are your thoughts on this? And then you're creating that conversation piece back and forth. We're trying to get that conversation going, and it may be like, yeah, I'm looking to wait till it drops a little bit more, or blah blah. But you're at least opening the door for that conversation. So there's a couple different ways you can go with it. One is the immediate notification with the call to action, or the other is I'm just trying to get this person to have conversations with me, which once again help build that trust. And then I can later get them on a call and close them, get them on a call, schedule an appointment with them, get them on a call, show them a property, or get them to self-schedule something with me as well.
Right. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. As far as, ways that this technology can be used in order to really, like you said, either facilitate a conversation or have a call to action. Either way, you're staying top of mind with those particular clients. Now, I know that next time that we get together for our podcast, we're going to be talking a little bit about how AI can help entrepreneurs. But just to give us kind of like a teaser, Phil, maybe you could get our readers and our viewers into that entrepreneurial mindset when it comes to, really looking at AI and how they're going to apply it in 2026 and beyond. It's been such a huge topic the last couple of years, and now the tools are really here that can help us in our professions. How do you wrap your head around that as an entrepreneur in real estate or mortgage?
Yeah, absolutely. So the part that people get confused with AI is they almost treat it like it's a person rather than a tool. But the exciting thing about AI is if used appropriately, you can hyper personalize at scale. You can know the best time to contact someone, the types of things they like to hear, stuff that wouldn't even be feasible before is possible now at grand scale. We can understand our customers on a massive scale at an individual personalized level. And so before, you'd have to rely on more of a broader, massive, generic campaign. We can now get very specialized to maximize the conversion of that individual at scale. So that's the really exciting thing about what AI is doing that we've never seen before. And the people that get behind understanding how to use this tool, because once again, we've talked about it a few times, there's ways to do things wrong. And there are certainly ways to do things wrong when you're hyper personalizing at scale. I've already talked about them before in the past. And so I really want to get into talking about how you can use this to your benefit and see growth in your business far better than you've ever seen before, and much better than your competitors are doing, because they're just using AI to get lazy. But if you use it intentionally, you can grow your business exponentially.
Really a lot to think about, a lot of strategizing when it comes to doing research on the tools that will work for you when it comes to AI, how they're applicable, and then of course, like you said, how to scale them. I look forward to learning so much more about this subject. Thank you so much for your time today, Phil.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. It was a great time.
Yes. And thank you, everybody at home who's watching today. We really appreciate your viewership. Once again, my name is Kimberley Haas. Have a great day.